This is a demonstration of the 3D CT projection system using Microsoft Kinect and a projector. The first step in using the system is to load up the Altered Face Basics code and press Run. The code will then open up a camera view from the Kinect system and the patient will be identified. Upon the patient being identified, values of the patient's rotation, head rotation will be sent to a text file to be read by Blender. Moving over to Blender, you will then insert the text file and press Run. Upon pressing Run, you can see that the patient's CT file has been uploaded and starts to rotate corresponding to the rotation of the patient's face. Okay, and coming over to the patient, you can see that the STL file has been displayed on the patient's face. Unfortunately, at the moment, it's not in line, so what you would do is just slowly move the patient, go up a bit, tiny bit, thank you, and slightly back. And now, as you can see, the STL file is now perfectly displayed upon the patient's face. If the patient then turns his head slowly to the left, you can see that the STL file is in fact rotating with the patient's face. However, due to the difference in the axis of rotation, the picture is not perfectly displayed on the patient's body. This will require a minor alteration by the doctor or technical expert, just to move the patient back in line with the image. As you can see, if the patient now turns his head to the right, you can see the system on his face as it scans, and the speed at which it scans is done by an averaging. If you increase the averaging, then the image moves less jaggedy. However, it does increase the amount of time it takes to respond to patient movements. Again, the picture is not in line with the patient, so you just move the patient. Can you move slightly closer this way? Perfect. And as you can see here, the STL file has now been placed very accurately onto the patient's face, corresponding to his rotation. There are certain situations when this system would not work. For instance, when the STL file, if the patient now faces forward, okay, there are certain situations where this would not work, and that is when the patient opens his mouth very wide, as the Kinect interprets this as him rotating his head forward slightly.